Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Nikki and I channel messages from movies and TV shows using tarot and oracle cards, and I am excited and honored to be doing a reading for you today. In today's video, I will be channeling messages from summer movies, and I am so excited because a lot of my favorite films are set during the summertime, and we are actually in the final month of summer where I live right now. So I wanted to end the summer with a bang and channel some messages from some summer flicks and see what messages come through for you. So how the reading will work, in the next part of the video, you will see 3 different piles. Meditate on the pile that is speaking to you and go to the timestamps that I provide down below to go directly to your reading from there. Also, if any part of a message does not resonate, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. So let's jump into some readings from some summer movies. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film is the 1991 movie Don't Tell Mom, the Babysitter's Dead, starring Christina Applegate, Joanna Cassidy, Josh Charles, and Keith Coogan. The synopsis says, Sue Ellen Crandall is a teenager, eagerly awaiting her mother's summer-long absence. While the babysitter looks after her rambunctious younger siblings, Sue Ellen can party and have fun. But then the babysitter abruptly dies, leaving the Crandalls short on cash. Sue Ellen finds a sweet job in fashion by lying about her age and experience on her resume. But while her siblings run wild, she discovers the downside of adulthood. So let's see what your cards have to say, pile number 1. And before we jump in here, disclaimer, spoilers will come through the reading. So if you have not seen Don't Tell Mom, the Babysitter's Dead, please be mindful of that as we move forward. Also, a lot of messages are general, so if something does not resonate, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card is attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Okay, so with this card, Spirit is showing me Carolyn's character in the film, played by Jane Brooke. After Swell and her siblings find out their babysitter has died, they have to figure out how they're going to make money for the 2 months while their mother is on vacation. Swell creates an amazing resume and applies to this fashion industry called GA. On the day of her interview, she walks in and sees the receptionist, who happens to be Carolyn. Swell asks her for help, as she isn't sure where she needs to go. Carolyn is very rude to Swell and talks down to her as though she is a child. She says to Swell, "You are supposed to go to personnel. That is on the 1st floor. When you get there, you will see a great big sign that says, personnel. Do you understand?" Swell kind of laughs her off after this, but you could tell that Carolyn has rattled her a bit. So Spirit is showing me someone around you that has similar energy to Carolyn. Someone who talks down to people. Someone who likes to make people feel small. And whoever this is in your life right now, pile number one, whether this is a coworker, a friend, or a relative, Spirit wants you to know that people who treat others unkindly are hurting deep within themselves. Like the card states, it's a call for help. And sometimes the best thing we can do is to be kind to those who are unkind to us. That doesn't mean to not set boundaries or not stand up for yourself. It's all about discernment and choosing our battles wisely. And when we understand that people are unkind due to something going on deeper within themselves, it's much easier to have compassion and let go. And sometimes a kind word can soften even the hardest of hearts. Your next card is, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. With this card, I feel a strong sense of worry about something and the fear that things aren't going to work out. After their babysitter dies in the film, panic sets in for Swell and her siblings. They come to find that the money their mom left for them was on the body of the babysitter that they left at a funeral home. So I also feel some of you are worrying about finances or are in the process of looking for a job, or perhaps even waiting to hear back if you got a job or not. In the movie, Swell and her brother Kenny flip a frozen pizza to see who will be getting a job. Swell loses the pizza flip and gets a job at a corn dog fast food restaurant, and she absolutely hates it. In fact, she hates it so much, she quits the first day. On the card, I'm drawn to the two Berts. Even though Swell only works at the restaurant for one day, she still meets Brian, who she starts to date later in the film. Spirit is saying sometimes there's a silver lining in things that seem unfavorable. If Swell hadn't worked at the restaurant, she wouldn't have met Brian. Also, Swell decides to have unshakable faith in herself. After quitting the fast food job, she creates an amazing resume and applies for a receptionist position at a fashion company. When Swell goes to her interview for the receptionist position, she meets Rose Lindsay, played by Joanna Cassidy. She loves Swell so much, she hires her as the executive administrative assistant. And the kicker is that Swell is only 17. So Spirit is saying when you have faith in yourself, miracles happen. Swell also moved in the direction of her passion. So I'm also picking up on an energy that some of you have a passion for fashion, which is really cool. But whatever your passion is, Spirit is saying to have faith because that will help you stay in a place of peace while you're waiting on something. And also how soulmates come into our lives in unexpected ways sometimes. Brian and Rose had Swell's back no matter what. So Spirit is also showing me how some of you have some strong soul connections in your life right now. Or these people are about to enter your life. These are souls who stand up for you when you're not around. If you haven't met them yet, it will be quite unexpected when you do. Or it will happen after you take a leap of faith with something. Your next card is the Emperor. With this card, Spirit is showing me Swell's brother Kenny, played by Keith Coogan. And this card comes from my movie tarot deck, which I absolutely love. My sister got it for me for Christmas. So, the Emperor in this deck is represented by Al Pacino's character in the movie Scarface. And that movie is mostly about drugs and addiction. In Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Kenny is a rebellious kid who likes to get into trouble and get high all the time with his friends. However, the Emperor card represents someone who is very in control of themselves and has been through a lot of challenges to get to their place of leadership in the world. Spirit is showing me towards the end of the film how Kenny wants to make positive change in his life. He cleans up his act, wants to go to culinary school, and even asks out his crush Nicole, who is one of his sister's friends. So Spirit is pointing out to me how some of you have overcome a very difficult addiction. I'm also seeing how some of you help others overcome addiction. And if you've broken a deep cycle of addiction, Spirit is commending you because that road can be a difficult one. Spirit is also showing me the scene at the end when one of Kenny's friends asks if he wants to go create mischief. Kenny tells him no and says he's going to actually start going to class when school starts up soon. So I also feel some of you have had some friends who tried to pull you back into addiction, and I can see it was hard for you to walk away because you loved them. Sometimes we have to let go of people who we know in our hearts are not good for us. It doesn't mean we don't still have love for them. It just means it's time to move on and detach with love. Your next card is the Lovers in reverse. In the film, Swell gets into an argument with Brian, who she has just started dating. He wants to know where she works, and she gets angry because he's not respecting her privacy. She actually says to him, "I'd tell you more if you didn't want to know so much." So Spirit is showing me how some of you are in an argument with someone you love. I feel like someone is keeping secrets, and it's causing a rift in the relationship. For some of you, I see if you or your partner respected each other's privacy, it would actually draw the two of you closer together. And it would help to build trust in the relationship immensely. On the card, the couple from Brokeback Mountain is shown. So I also feel that some of you are having a secret relationship, and one of you is tired of keeping things a secret. I sense the energy of couples in the LGBTQ community as well, where one person is out and being themselves authentically, while another person is still not comfortable being out yet. Of course, the timing of when someone wants to come out should be respected. However, if it's causing a strain on the relationship, a decision has to be made with what one will continue to put up with. No one deserves to be kept a secret. And a couple that genuinely values and respects each other goes out in public with each other. They meet each other's family and friends, and they don't just meet up at booty call hour. They love each other unconditionally and accept each other for who they are. Next card is the Eight of Pentacles, and at the bottom it says, learning all you can about a subject or career, going back to school, taking a seminar, or finding a mentor. Attention to detail, skilled work that you love. So this card epitomizes working hard on something you love. I'm drawn to the man and the woman on the card, working together collaboratively. Spirit is letting you know it's okay to delegate work if you feel overwhelmed. In the film, Sue Ellen's boss, Rose, asks her if the QED report is completed yet. Rose doesn't know that Sue Ellen has actually given the report to another coworker named Kathy to complete. Kathy was sick that day and dropped the report off to Carolyn to give to Sue Ellen. So when Rose asks Sue Ellen where the report is, Carolyn goes, "Oh, I have that report for you right here. It looks as though Sue Ellen has been having Kathy do her work for her." Rose looks shocked, and Sue Ellen admits the truth. But instead of getting angry at Sue Ellen, Rose is really happy, and she says, "I was wondering how you were going to get this done along with everything else." Now, it's one thing to have someone do work for us, but it's another thing to have someone help out when we are swamped. I'm also feeling an energy of working long hours on something, but not really minding because you love what you do. In the film, the fashion company Sue Ellen works for starts to have some issues. So, she comes up with some really cool ideas to revamp the clothing. And there's one scene in particular where Sue Ellen has a business meeting and tells the group, "We're pulling an all-nighter," and everyone groans. Sue Ellen was passionate about the project, though. And when you're doing something you love, time flies by in a good way. Sue Ellen also says she would be happy to host a fashion show at her house. The only problem is her house is a disaster area, so her siblings all come together to clean and get the home ready for the show. Each of them were delegated with a different task. So all of them working together led to the home looking absolutely beautiful. So Spirit is saying if there is something you can delegate, whether at work or at home, take the opportunity to do so. Next card is Renewal. On the bottom it says, reviewing the past with compassion and forgiveness. Time to head in a new direction. Clarity on your life purpose. In your heart, you know what to do. Okay, so for some of you, Spirit is showing me how there was something that happened in the past that you're not proud of. But I'm also seeing how this moment helps shift you in a new direction. In the film, Sue Ellen's younger siblings steal some money out of her purse. She had taken petty cash from her job to help buy food and pay bills. And her siblings, they steal around $3,000 from her. And her youngest brother, Walter, played by Robert High Gorman, buys a home entertainment system. When the system is delivered, Walter actually has some trouble getting the reception to come in, so he yells up to his brother Kenny to help him. Kenny is in his bedroom getting high with his friends, and he opens the door and tells Walter to have Bob Barker help him. Walter looks very irritated, but takes it upon himself to go up to the roof and fix the antenna. While up there, he actually loses his footing, falls off the roof, and breaks his leg. So, after this happens, Kenny rushes him to the emergency room, and he feels absolutely terrible about not being there to watch his brother. So Spirit is showing me that whatever happened in your past, it's time to forgive yourself. Holding on to the guilt is no longer serving you. I also see that whatever happened did change you as a person on a deep level. The only thing that seems to have remained is the guilt. Give yourself grace, and I see you learned a valuable lesson from whatever happened. Replace the guilt with compassion, my friend. Next, we have Precious Time. On the bottom it says, the Fairy of Time wants you to experience every moment fully and to make the most of your precious time. Be mindful not to waste other time either. So Spirit is pointing out that time is our most valuable resource, and to protect your time at all costs. At the end of the film, Sue Ellen has to come clean about the fact that she lied about her age. She feels like she wasted everyone's time because of this. An interesting thing happens, though. The business partners loved Sue Ellen's ideas. They didn't feel like she wasted their time at all. So I feel some of you feel like you wasted someone's time with something, but that wasn't actually the truth. Whoever this is learned something really valuable from you or got inspired by something you said or did. Spirit is saying to give yourself more credit. Also in the film, Sue Ellen also says she's only 17 and it was supposed to be her summer vacation for her to enjoy, and how she's not supposed to be a career mom right now. And when she's not working, she was hanging out with this guy named Brian that she started dating in the film. And he brings out the fun of her in this. So I feel some of you have a strong soul connection with someone who brings the playful side out of you and tells you not to be so serious all the time. Spirit is showing me the scene when Sue Ellen and Brian are hopping on the kid balls in the store on one of their dates. Spirit is saying to prioritize moments like this, especially if you work a lot. And on the bottom of the card, it says to be mindful not to waste other people's time either. This is a message of punctuality. Some of us are not the best at showing up on time for things. And this doesn't make us bad people, but it does set a precedent of reliability with whoever we are meeting with. So Spirit is saying when we say we will be somewhere at a specified time, it's important to honor that. And when we show up for people, people show up for us. Your last card is Journey. And on the bottom it says, it's time to prepare for a journey. It may be impromptu or planned. Either way, make sure you're ready when the time comes. Pack your passport now. With this card, pile number 1, Spirit is showing me Sue Ellen's mother, played by Concetta Tomei. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. In the beginning of the film, she is leaving her kids with a babysitter for 2 months while she goes on a vacation. I see a similar journey in store for some of you, and that's really, really exciting. The card says, pack your passport now. So I'm seeing dynamics of couples going on a trip together and leaving their kids with someone so they can make time for each other. I'm also picking up on solo trips for self-care and doing something for yourself. And I absolutely love that. So whatever this journey is, it's going to be remarkable, pile number 1. And I also sense some of you have even learned a new language and are visiting the place where that language is spoken. The card also speaks of an impromptu journey. So if some of you have been wanting to go somewhere, Spirit is saying get to planning and go. You deserve this vacation with all of your hard work you've done. This journey is divinely guided, so make the most of it and enjoy. I love that so much. Thank you, pile number 1. Those are your messages from the 1991 film Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. If your reading resonated, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film is the 2018 movie Summer of '03, directed by Becca Gleason, starring Joey King, Jack Kilmore, and Andrea Savage. The synopsis says, a 16-year-old girl and her extended family are left reeling after her calculating grandmother unveils an array of secrets on her deathbed. So let's see what your cards have to say and what messages Spirit is bringing through for you pile number 2. But before we begin, I would like to give a disclaimer that spoilers will come through the reading. So if you have not seen Summer of '03, please be mindful of that as we move forward. Also, messages that come through are very general, so if something does not resonate, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. Your first card, pile number 2, the key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. Okay, so with this card, Spirit is showing me the scene where Jamie Winkle, played by Joey King, goes into a Catholic church. So I feel some of you are curious about religion or want to learn more about all religions in general. Perhaps some of you have a seasoned prayer practice, or you have started praying or setting intentions recently. I'm feeling a lot of energy going towards confidence affirmations or praying for more confidence with communication or even so with public speaking. In the film, Jamie is absolutely terrified of speaking publicly. When she walks into the Catholic church, there's no one in the church at all, so she walks up to the front and finds a microphone. And because there isn't anyone in the church, she picks up the microphone and starts speaking to the empty room. So Spirit is showing me this is a great way to gain confidence if you have a fear of speaking in front of people. It helps you to visualize how you want the experience to go, and it's one simple action towards shifting out of the reality where your fear is still present. Also, with prayers and intention setting, it's all about getting clear on the version of yourself you want to embody. It's about being that version of yourself and letting God, Source, the universe, bring what you actually need and letting go of what it is you think you need. When we get into a neutral place where we are okay either way, that's when the universe really gets to work. Your second card says, I honor how I want to feel. So yeah, while in the Catholic Church after she starts speaking into the microphone, Jamie meets Luke, played by Jack Kilmer. And you can tell she is completely taken in by him. There's even a part where she says, there are moments when you meet someone and you can tell they are going to impact your life in some way. Luke is training to be a priest, which means once he becomes ordained, he can't partake in any sexual activity. Jamie and Luke begin spending a lot of time together, but Luke is adamant that it's kept a secret. They explore their sexuality with each other until one night they are caught having sex outdoors in a park. Jamie is certain they are in love, and she goes to see him, only she finds that he doesn't feel the same way about her. He tells her he thought they were just having fun. Jamie's heart is completely broken, and she says, so what? You were just getting your sexual needs met until you become a priest? And he is so cold to her and says, yeah, basically. Tears are streaming down her face. So Spirit is showing me how some of you experience something similar. I'm also hearing things like, I can't believe I cried in front of them like that, and I'm so pathetic. Spirit is saying no. By crying and showing your emotions, you were the stronger one by far. The person who can be vulnerable and feel their emotions is always stronger than the cold-hearted person who refuses to feel anything. If this is something that happened in the past or something that has happened recently, be gentle with your heart and with yourself. Your next card is the Empress. This card always gives me mother vibes. It feels so nurturing when it's right side up. In the film, Jamie's mom is Shira Winkle, played by Andrea Savage. I feel a lot of you have strong mother figures in your life, or this can represent you if you're a parent. In the movie, you see that Jamie and Shira have somewhat of a strained relationship from time to time. As an outsider watching the movie, we can tell that Shira only wants the best for Jamie, but sometimes she struggles to meet her daughter where she's at to truly understand her. There's a shift that takes place at the end of the movie, though. In the beginning, Jamie's family is at the hospital because her grandmother, Dottie Winkle, is dying. Dottie, played by June Squibb, deems this an opportunity to tell her family some hard truths. So at the end, everyone is at her funeral. People here and there get up to say kind words about Dottie. When it's Jamie's turn, her fear of public speaking is completely gone, and she speaks her truth. She calls out Luke. She talks about how she was surprised by some of the kind things people were saying about her grandmother, because she knew her grandmother wasn't always the kindest human being. Before she died, she told Jamie that she had her secretly baptized because she couldn't bear the thought of her going to hell. This really upsets Jamie's mom because she is Jewish. So Spirit is showing me how some of you have experienced clashes with different religions within your family. When it comes to religion or lack of religion, our different perspectives and beliefs contribute to who we are. Forcing beliefs or perspectives on people will always create resistance. When we let go, sometimes we open up to the beauty of learning new things about cultures, and we connect with people in a whole new way. When Jamie speaks her truth at her grandma's funeral, the camera cuts to her mom, and she is laughing. She loves the boldness her daughter has, and they connect with each other on a deeper level. Once her mom understands her, they move closer to one another. So I'm seeing strong parent-child dynamics, and Spirit is saying, if it feels like you can't make any leeway due to misunderstandings, seek to understand and really listen to each other. You'll be surprised at what you learn. Your next card is the Eight of Swords. With this card, Spirit is drawing me to a thought pattern that is repeating. And the Eight of Swords can indicate a self-imposed prison, whereas the door to the cage we may think we are in is actually open. All we have to do is push it open. Spirit is saying the solution to your situation is right in front of you, but you're not allowing yourself to see it. In the film, Jamie's entire world crumbles as she experiences heartbreak and fights with her parents and friends. But also, despite these challenges, she doesn't allow herself to stay in a victim mindset for very long. She bounces back quickly. Spirit is showing me that every time you've experienced a challenge, you too bounce back quickly. You are someone who keeps getting back up each time you're knocked down, and each moment has made you stronger than before. So whatever difficulty you're going through right now is no different. The Eight of Swords brings a message of surrender and trusting that you're going to bounce back like you always do. Your next card is the Four of Swords. At the bottom it says, insights that come from meditation, the need to rest or take a vacation, allow yourself more time before making a decision, mental exhaustion, get more sleep. With this card, Spirit is reiterating the message from the Eight of Swords. The armor on the card is indicating it's time to return to yourself and to heal and rest. The armor shows me you're a fighter and have had to do so through many situations in your life. Spirit is saying it's safe to take off the armor and allow yourself a period of rest. In the film, Jamie experiences a lot of difficult situations, and when it feels like she has hit rock bottom, she goes into fighter mode. After Luke broke her heart, she immediately goes to a friend's party and tries to rebound with someone to feel better. And this leads to things getting worse. Spirit is saying that if this is a time of healing your heart, to give grace to yourself and allow yourself to be held. It's not a time to make hasty decisions. Your body, mind, and soul are calling for you to enter into rest and self-care. Deep insights would come through meditation at this time if you are open to that. Your next card is the Lovers. On the bottom it says, embrace true love and deep, intimate friendships. Make choices from the heart, vibrant health, or recovery from an illness. Typically with this card, it points to a love connection. In this reading, I intuitively feel it represents the self-love you have for yourself and you taking your power back from someone. The angel on the card is reminding me of Luke in the film, who was training to be a priest. Yet, he has sexual relations with Jamie. I feel some of you have experienced the same thing that Jamie did, or something similar. Luke's religion held strong beliefs about sexuality, yet he shamelessly used Jamie, and then made her feel bad about it. He only wanted sex, and then used his religion to discard her. When his own religion would have looked down upon what he was doing. There are powerful lessons in situations like this. If someone uses their religion to shamelessly hurt people like Luke did to Jamie, it's due to shame within oneself. Many religions view sex as shameful, and this narrative is more harmful than people know. Situations like this are also powerful lessons in self-love and learning what we do prefer in relationships. If two people are on the same page about sex and have the same religious beliefs, that's great. However, when one person engages in a sexual act with someone and then proceeds to make the other person feel used or ashamed based on religion, that is wrong. So Spirit is showing me a lot of you taking your power back from someone who did something similar. And that self-love manifests a partner in your life who matches your beliefs, whether that's religion-based, sexuality-based, or both, or a relationship where differences in beliefs are respected. Your next card is Inner Child. And at the bottom it says, the fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace your inner child. Playing keeps us young, at heart. Do something silly and fun, but stay safe. With this card, Spirit is showing me Jamie's younger brother Dylan, played by Logan Medina. In the beginning of the film, their grandmother, Dottie, is dropping bombs on the family. When Dylan is sitting with her, she tells him she knows he is gay and that he needs to go to a conversion camp to fix himself. He has no idea what she even means, so he Googles how to fix being gay on the internet. Then later in the film, Jamie sees him sitting in his room and he looks really sad. So she sits next to him and he tells her what their grandma told him. Jamie is shocked to learn this, and she tells Dylan that she is sorry that Dottie said that to him. And she tells him that she loves him no matter what his sexuality is. And also how cool he is, that his clothes are vintage and awesome, and how he listens to really cool music. Jamie gives him unconditional love in this moment. So Spirit is showing me that there were times in your childhood where people didn't accept you for who you are, and this could have come from the people closest to you. With the inner child card coming out here, it's a reminder to embrace the playfulness within yourself, but also giving unconditional love to your inner child really brings profound healing. And if someone told you that you needed to fix something about yourself, when it comes to how you identify, whatever your sexuality is, your beliefs, there's nothing to fix. Your last card is fairy spotting. And it says, "It's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact the opposite is true. Believing is seeing." With your last card, pile number 2, this is all about believing what you're seeing. So I'm getting strong awakening vibes. I feel a lot of psychic abilities being activated or new spiritual gifts coming online that you didn't know you had. This film doesn't really dive into the specifics of awakening or psychic abilities, but with the death of the grandma, Dottie, I do feel some of you have had a relative pass away or someone close recently. And I see some of you have actually seen their spirit, or they have been leaving you signs that they are near. Some of you are entering a phase of beginning ancestral healing as well, and your loved one will be helping you with this healing from the spiritual realm. So Spirit wants to confirm to you that you're not going crazy, okay? What you're experiencing is real. And also, some people may not understand, so you might find you experience resistance from people who aren't ready to open up to spiritual ideas, and that's okay. When they're ready, that time will come, and your gifts are very special, pile number 2. It's time to embrace everything about yourself and move forward to the next part of your journey. That is all that I am seeing, pile number 2. Those are your channel messages from the 2018 film Summer of '03. If your reading resonated, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. I am so grateful that you are here. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you are here. Your film is the 1986 movie Stand By Me, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell, and Corey Feldman. And the synopsis says, after learning that a stranger has been accidentally killed near their rural homes, 4 Oregon boys decide to go see the body. On the way, Gordy LaChance, Vern Tessio, Chris Chambers, and Teddy Duchamp encounter a mean junk man and a marsh full of leeches, as they also learn more about one another and their very different home lives. Just a lark at first, the boys' adventure evolves into a defining event in their lives. Okay, pile number 3, let's see what your cards have to say here. But before we jump in, want to give a disclaimer that there will be spoilers that come through the reading. So if you have not seen Stand By Me, please be mindful of that. Also, a lot of general messages come through. So if something doesn't resonate, don't try to force something that does not fit. Only take what resonates and leave what does not. So your first card, pile number 3, is There Is Nothing Sexier Than My Authentic Truth. Okay, so with this card, the first thing Spirit is showing me is the scene in Stand By Me when Gordy asks Chris if he is weird. And Chris kind of laughs him off and says, yeah. And Gordy says, no, seriously, man, am I weird? Chris looks at him and says, yeah, but we are all weird. So, Spirit is showing me how sometimes you feel misunderstood in the world and have had a feeling like sometimes you don't fit in. The truth is that ultimately you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out. So being weird and different, it's actually a gift because it means you're an original. I'm also seeing how Gordy loves to write stories. So I feel some of you have a passion for writing or a passion for something creative in nature. Spirit is showing me the scene where Gordy tells his friends a story about a guy who enters a pie eating contest. So I also feel that some of you are amazing storytellers as well. And then I also feel an energy of some of you even having told your friends stories when you were a kid and them absolutely loving it. But Spirit is also showing me how you've encountered some people who haven't understood the type of content you write about or the type of content you create. I'm actually hearing things like, why would you write or create something like that? And for some of you, this is what has caused that feeling of, am I weird? So Spirit is saying to own your weirdness because it's part of your authentic truth. You're not for everyone, and that is okay. Focus on the people who do support you and not on the ones who don't. And when you are living, breathing, and speaking all of your authentic truth, there's nothing more attractive than that, okay? Your next card is I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. Okay, so Spirit is showing me how supportive you are of other people, but also how you have a tendency to neglect yourself. And you have a very powerful mission here, okay? But in order to serve others in the capacity that you want, you must serve within yourself first. In the film, I'm seeing how Chris Chambers uplifts all of his friends. He repeatedly tells Gordy that he is going to make something of himself with his writing, and that it's more than any of the rest of them could ever hope for. He also talks about how the whole town has branded him and his family criminals. So I feel for some of you, there were rumors in your town about you and your family, and some negative beliefs were created from this experience or something similar in nature. But what other people think doesn't define who you are as a person. What you think about yourself does. You have just as many gifts and talents as everyone else does. Stop taking what other people say and think about you as truth, because you know your truth already. I'm also hearing things like, well, what does it matter? People have already made up their minds about me. And I'm also feeling an energy of, having tried to do the right thing with something and it not working out. Because in the film, Chris stole money at school. However, he realized what he did was wrong, and he gave the money to a teacher. But what ends up happening is that teacher keeps the money and does absolutely nothing to help Chris. So if you've experienced something like this in the past, don't keep bringing this experience into your present moment. You can take your power back from this experience by changing the narrative in your mind. Don't let one situation like this keep you from doing the right thing, because you are a good person. And when you find yourself focusing on the past, Spirit is saying to interrupt that thought pattern and return to the present moment. Remind yourself that you are a good person, that you are love, and allow yourself to receive the natural miracles wanting to come into your life right now, pile number 3. Your next card is the 3 of Coins. So with this card, Spirit is saying it's time to let others support you as much as you support them. This card really epitomizes collaborating with people and working together as a team. It's also about maintaining a balanced workload with each other. So in the movie, these 4 boys are always working together, and they encounter many difficult situations on their journey. But they have each other's backs no matter what. And there's so many different scenes that epitomize this. Like, there's one where they cross a bridge where a train crosses through, and when they're about halfway across, a train starts coming at them, and they push each other to safety. In another scene, a man puts down Teddy, played by Corey Feldman, and his friends jump in to stand up for him. And then in yet another scene, they cross a stream of water and they get leeches all over their bodies. But they help each other pull the leeches off. So Spirit is saying to allow others to help you. And it's a great time for collaborating with people on creative pursuits and ideas. Your next card is the 5 of Swords. So this card is all about conflict and sometimes not being able to let go of the need to be right. I'm actually being shown Ace, played by Kiefer Sutherland in the film. He's the leader of a gang who tend to be bullies in the town of Castle Rock. He never thinks he's wrong, and he uses negative energy to get what he wants. He feels powerful when he puts others down, especially when people he knows are weaker than he is. So Spirit is saying when it comes to collaborating with people, opt to work with those who listen to all perspectives. Opt to work with those who are focused on win-win outcomes for all. Because I feel an energy of someone who likes to control everything and doesn't listen to the ideas that other people are bringing. And I see some of these ideas would really transcend whatever project is being worked on. So when each person is allowed to bring their unique ideas to the table and then integrated, the energy becomes more balanced and each person feels seen, heard, and valued. Leaders help create other leaders. Next card we have is the Queen of Pentacles. And on the bottom it says, generous, practical, gracious, materialistic, the ability to make anything more beautiful, a love of family and home. Be practical about how you proceed, a love of art and beauty, a sensible approach. Okay, so in Stand By Me, there definitely seems to be a focus on strained relationships with father figures, right? And with the Queen of Pentacles coming out in your reading, I feel some of you were raised by a single mother. And I see that she did the best she could with everything she had. And I also see how she was really amazing at keeping the house clean and making sure food was on the table. This woman took on the role of two parents, and it caused a lot of resentment, because she felt she deserved more support than she was receiving. And she was absolutely right. She did deserve more support. So this could be where the pattern of not feeling supported comes from. Doing mother healing could be beneficial at this time for you, pile number 3. Also, the Queen of Pentacles could actually represent you. And this queen embodies a lot of amazing traits, one of which is generosity. So Spirit is showing me how generous of a person you are. You're generous with your time, energy, money, and resources. You don't like seeing people hurting. And there are people who still smile about something you did for them in the past. You truly care about people, and the world definitely needs more people like you, my friend. Your next card is the King of Pentacles. And on the bottom it says, compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, grounded, a time of great success, financial security, and prosperity, the Midas touch, everything turning out beautifully, a supportive parent and spouse, a good person to work for. Okay, so with this card, along with the past card of the Queen of Pentacles, I'm feeling major power couple vibes. Let me grab this Queen of Pentacles and set this right here. See, this message kind of goes together here. That's really cool. So I'm seeing married couples or people who have been in a relationship for a while now. This is a solid soul connection, and I feel both of you have very strong spiritual gifts that complement each other. I also feel both of you have had a group of friends as children that you were both very close with. And these children that you spent time with were actually helping to heal you as much as you helped to heal them. In Stand By Me, these 4 boys all have very different lives, and when they go on this journey, trauma and deep emotions come to the surface. And the beautiful thing is they don't judge each other for it. I feel like you confided in a group of children when you were a kid, and it was very healing whether you realized it or not. And you actually may still be friends with some of them today. But I'm seeing this king and queen have a lot in common and are here to uplift humanity in a powerful way. The King of Pentacles also turns everything to gold that they touch. So the King of Pentacles could also represent you. And this is a very positive omen for moving forward with something you're working on or thinking about working on. The card says the Midas touch, so that's an indication that whatever this is, it's going to prosper as long as you stick with it. I'm actually being shown the adult version of Gordy at the end of the film, and the adult version of him is played by Richard Dreyfuss. So while he's writing, his children come into the room and ask him to spend time with them. He finishes his last sentence and gets up to meet them. And on the card, it says a supportive parent and spouse at the bottom here. So if you are a parent, Spirit is showing me how you make time for your family because it's a priority for you. You know how to balance work and play, and it serves you well in your life. And this is an amazing strength to have, pile number 3. Your next card is Life Energy. It says at the bottom, focus. The happy fairy of sunshine brings lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. So in the beginning of the film, we learn that these 4 boys are going on a journey to find a dead body. And at the end of the film, they actually do find the body. And Gordy has a very powerful emotional release. It brings up the negative feelings he has towards his dad, and he keeps repeating how his dad hates him. Gordy actually had a brother played by John Cusack who died in a car accident. You learn that in the middle of the film as well. And there's also scenes here and there where you can see how hard Gordy's dad is on him. So once they do find this dead body of a young boy, it reminded Gordy of how life isn't fair sometimes and how his father wasn't being fair to him. And the boy that died, I feel like that was a metaphor for Gordy's grief and anger that he was repressing. So Spirit is showing me how some of you may have experienced something similar with a father figure. And I did mention potential mother healing earlier, so father healing could be beneficial as well here. But I feel grief and anger from having lost someone too soon or having lost someone you love recently. And what Spirit is bringing through here is that when it comes to our pain, the worst thing we can do is repress it. Sitting with it, allowing it to be there, feeling it, is what helps the pain move through us and ultimately leads to letting it go. And when we judge our emotions and hold on to them, the pain remains within the body and keeps returning. So Spirit is saying pain is a part of life, and it's okay to allow yourself to feel it. Many people can't handle the pain, and this is what leads to addiction. But those addictions only keep the pain away temporarily. This is why people have ongoing prescriptions to medicine, because the pain they haven't allowed themselves to feel keeps coming back. Now, I'm not a licensed professional or a doctor, so I'm not saying to stop any medication if you have been taking any. I'm merely offering up a different perspective to help emotions be felt and let go of pain naturally. Because when we suppress our emotions, we suppress our life energy. And having emotions is part of being a human. Your last card is Abundance. And on the bottom it says, prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks you may have. In fairyland and human land, there is enough abundance for everyone. Beautiful, pile number 3. What a great card to end the reading on here. I love it. So at the beginning of the movie, Gordy asks his friend if he's weird. Remember how we talked about that at the beginning of the reading here? Well, at the very end, Gordy is a successful writer who created amazing abundance in his life with his family and career. So Spirit is showing me, as you overcome mental blocks and heal from within, you're manifesting so much abundance in your life. And Spirit wants to remind you as well that when it comes to abundance, it's not just material things. It's our relationships, our passions, our experiences, and our health. And the card actually says to prepare for incoming abundance. So what's yours is already here now. It's just waiting for you to claim it. And when it comes to abundance, there is no lack. There's a program on the planet that there is never enough. And this is not true. There's always plenty for everyone. It's just a matter of believing it. And you are the main character of your reality. So it's time to let go of everything that doesn't align for you. Pile number 3. Beautiful, beautiful reading. A lot of emotional healing, purging, abundance coming in. Very prosperous reading here, pile number 3. I love that. Thank you so much. Those are your messages from the 1986 film Stand By Me. If you enjoyed the reading, if it resonated, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. I am so grateful for you being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.